All right, well, congratulations, kids. And you're both in trouble because you made your mom cry. You're not supposed to do that. So really what I want to say, besides congratulations, obviously, you know, we wish you the most happiness you can find, is I can't really do anything without offering some advice, because I think I know everything, pretty much. And so I'm going to. I think one thing that we hope for you, and hope that you do, that can be kind of a backbone of your relationship going forward, is to have an attitude of gratitude for everything. The glass is really half full. And when I was thinking about what I was going to say about that attitude of gratitude, I started thinking about the people in this room. I've met a lot of them in the last few days. Some of them I've known for my whole life. But you have a really unique family, and you have a great, great bunch of friends, and that unique family has a lot of great people in it. And your friends are really amazing people and great friends. You know, if you end up in your lifetime with 2 really good friends, you're doing something right. You've got dozens of really awesome people here. So live an attitude of gratitude and realize the support that you have and how lucky you are to have all those things. The next thing would just really to say that marriage is a little different than dating. It's a little different than having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's a partnership at the highest level. And you've heard of the priest today, the pastor, a lot of different people talk about unconditional love. But that's not an easy thing to do. You know, we really do deep down have agendas. We have things. We want things to work out a certain way. We've got a vision in our head sometimes, right? But really, when you enter into a partnership at this level, thinking about the other person and really what's best for the other person and having an outcome that is best for the other person is really important. And as you enter into a new stage of your relationship, you're going to be jockeying for position. That happens. Arguments are not a bad thing. They say never go to bed angry. I say get some sleep. Fight tomorrow. You can fight tomorrow. Just get some damn sleep. That's not good advice. But just remember, when you take a position and you have an argument or a debate, now that you're partners, really the only good outcome is an outcome that's best for the other person. So it's a whole different way of looking at things. We wish you the best. We love you. We support you. Care about you. Like I said, you got a great, great support group, great bunch of friends and family, better than probably anyone in the world. So don't forget it, and thank you. We appreciate you as well.
My name is Barbara Dombrowski. I first want to say thank you to Kimmy and Steve and your families for this beautiful evening. And thank you to those of you who traveled from out of state to be here. Kimmy's Disney fairy tale wedding dream has come to life today. I have had the honor of knowing Kimmy since we were in high school. We met through our youth group at St. Andrews, where we have shared many fun memories together, from sailing and surfing at leadership camp to attending and leading retreats like Compass and Kairos. Through church activities, I quickly learned about Kimmy Hollywood, as her mom Cindy calls her. Kimmy always was chosen as the main actress for church skits. So for one skit in particular, I had to play Kimmy's drunk drug addict friend who was influencing her to make bad choices, which is so like me, right? Totally. Kimmy, just like my dancing tonight, I hope my performance met your expectations. But in all seriousness, ever since I met Kimmy, she has been the most sweet, genuine, and all-around wonderful person. What has impressed me the most about Kimmy is how she manages to juggle so many life activities. She works a full-time job and a part-time job, coaches dance, sings in the church choir, choreographs high school musicals, Randy, Among wedding planning chaos, she managed to find time to write a book called The Low Budget Bride. She owns a production company with Travis where she acts, sings, and dances in her own shows. Kimmy truly does it all. And I know she will take this commitment and dedication to her many activities into her marriage with Stephen. So I know that it's not proper wedding etiquette to bring up exes. However, we're just gonna go there, okay. When I first heard about Stephen, I remember Kimmy saying, so I met this really great guy. There's just one little problem. He has a girlfriend. I remember, so I remember telling Kimmy something my cousin once told me. Oh, girlfriends are just a speed bump. Needless to say, Stephen got over that speed bump, and here we are today. So, Stephen, you are Kimmy's perfect match. Not only do you have a shared love of everything theater and Disney, you understand Kimmy, and you are patient with her. You take care of her, you love her for who she is. And most importantly, you know that the perfect way to cheer her up would be to take her to a Broadway musical or to Disneyland. So since this has truly been a fairy tale wedding day for the two of you, I decided that I should give you a few tips on how to live a happily ever after. Of course, I needed to hire some consultants for this task, so I asked the experts, my second grade students. So here are just a few things they said that you must do in order to live a happily ever after. From the mouths of babes, as they say. First, meet at a ball, which, theater will have to do. Then get married to a pretty girl. Good job, Stephen. And have a beautiful wedding. Check. Live in a town. Mesa will have to suffice. Next, get a dog. Well, thanks, Penny Lane. She got that part covered. Of course, Penny Lane needs a friend, so you should get a cat at some point. Yeah. So the next step to living a happily ever after is to get rich through having a job with good business, pure romance. Then, with all of the money you've made from your business, you can move into a castle. Have 6 children. Yeah. And they have to be not only 6 children, they have to be sweet children, and they have to listen to you. Okay. You watch them grow into adults and be grandparents, and make sure you are nice grandparents. And last, you go to heaven with God. That's what they said. So Kimmy and Steve, I wish you a lifetime of love and happiness. And as Father Joe always says, and I've heard this a lot tonight, do not look to your spouse to make you happy. Rather, choose to love each other every day. That will bring you true happiness, and cherish one another forever. In true Kim Shack fashion, I would like to end with a quote from Walt Disney. You can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make that dream a reality. Well, Kimmy and Steve, you are the 2 people that will make your dream a reality. You are the 2 people who will create your marriage into something wonderful. Let's raise our glasses to the new Mr. and Mrs. Shackelford. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Now I will hand it over to the best man.
I'm Ken. I'm one of Steve's best friends, and I have the honor of being his best man. The first time I met Steve goes all the way back to the 6th grade, so 14 years ago, where I was introduced to Steve by our mutual friend Alex. And it's funny because I remember when I first met Steve, I really wasn't sure what to make of him. After a couple of hangouts, one thing I noticed real quickly was that Steve had a blessing and maybe a curse in that he had the ability to literally feel no shame about anything he ever did. So when combined with the fact that Steve was outgoing and charismatic, I instantly remember Steve making our group hangouts 10 times more fun and 10 times more crazy. On the flip side, I also found out real quick that Steve did not understand the concept of planning at all. And he was always late to everything we did. It drove me crazy. Still, over time, as I got to know Steve, he really started to grow on me. I came to realize that he was one of the most genuine people I'd ever met. What you saw was what you got. Steve never judged, and he always cared. I always knew he had my back. And even though he was late to everything, he always somehow found a way to be there when you needed him the most. Of course, looking back, while he was always there when you needed him, he sometimes was also there when you didn't want him either. If I had to share one experience that summed up the essence of Steve, it would have to be the time during my senior year of college when Steve was a professional esports gamer living in my kitchen. This all started during that summer when Steve came to me asking if he could move in with me and bunk in my living room so he could save some money. I wasn't really thrilled with the idea, but I figured I'd let him sleep on my couch for a while and he could have a small space in the living room. I figured if he was pretty much going to live like a hobo, he'd tire of it and move out eventually. I was like, this can only be temporary, or so I thought. So on the weekend he moves in, I come into my apartment, and instead of bringing a sleeping bag or a small cot for a living room, Steve had decided that annexing my dining area next to the kitchen was a better option for everyone involved. He moved out my dining table and its chairs to the patio, and it's about a 6 by 6 feet space, maybe smaller. Steve had managed to cram into this area his queen bed, 2 dressers, a nightstand, a lamp, and pretty much all his earthly possessions. On top of that, he had managed to jerry-rig a large black velvet curtain hooked to a wire that hung across the ceiling, which he drilled holes into to make, so that he could open and close to cover his space if he wanted some privacy. To compound it all, since I was only charging him like $150 in rent a month, Steve's expenses were low enough that he could fulfill one of his lifelong dreams of being a professional esports gamer. It had to have been about a month into this living arrangement as I was sitting on my couch to eat breakfast on my dining table, with Steve half naked, because he never has a shirt on, in the corner with his headphones on, playing on his computer. I thought to myself, how did this all happen? But in true Steve fashion, he had a goal to achieve, and with some hard work, outside of the box thinking, and let's be honest, here's some stupidity on my part, Steve was able to make things work out financially for himself and even leverage that into doing something he truly loved. Classic Steve. And at the end of the day, rooming with Steve was actually a ton of fun. And while Steve never did make it as a professional esports gamer, he now owns and runs his own esports company. So it all kind of worked out. Anyways, as much fun as we had living together that year, I think fate was looking out for Steve, because I'm pretty sure Steve and Kimmy met right after he moved out of my kitchen. When I found out that Steve and Kimmy were dating, I actually really didn't pay too much attention to it. I'm not going to lie. In all the time that I've known Steve, I've never really been all that impressed with his exes. We're on the topic of bringing up exes. But as I got to know Kimmy, I started to realize that she was really different from the others. First and foremost, Kimmy wasn't batshit crazy like his other 2 most recent girlfriends. So they were properly speed bumped, road bumped over. But on top of that, I could tell that she was really just a good match for Steve. On an obvious level, it was great that Steve had met someone who had the same love of art, music, and self-expression as he did. Kimmy was someone who he could sing weird, old-timey songs with, and she loved piano bars as much as he did. On top of that, I could tell that he had met someone who could be his equal in a relationship, someone with aspirations and dreams that rivaled his own. And since they started dating, I can tell that she's really been a steadying presence for the chaos that is Steve. Above all, I know that she makes him crazy happy. So I couldn't be happy for Steve that he found someone who was such a perfect match and a perfect partner in crime. I'd like to lost my spot. I'd like to raise a toast, which I don't have a glass, so I won't do this, and wish them both nothing but the best in their new marriage and hope that all their dreams become reality. Steve and Kimmy.